Goddamn, another failed relationship. I swear, if I have to hear one more time how I'm too intense or not emotionally available, I might just lose it. Here I am, Harper Watson, 35 years old, and I'm sitting in this dingy 24-hour diner at 2 a.m., drowning my sorrows in a cup of lukewarm coffee that tastes like it's been sitting on the burner since last Tuesday. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead, casting an unflattering glow on the worn vinyl booths. I catch a glimpse of myself in the smudged mirror behind the counter. My blonde hair's a mess, and my blue eyes are bloodshot. Real attractive, Harper. No wonder you're alone. Just as I'm considering ordering a slice of that sad-looking apple pie in the display case, the bell above the door jingles. In walks this knockout brunette, all legs and curves, looking like she just stumbled out of a high-end cocktail party. Our eyes meet, and for a second, I forget how to breathe. She scans the nearly empty diner, then makes a beeline for my booth. Without so much as a "may I?" she plops down across from me, her green eyes glassy and unfocused. "Rough night?" I ask, raising an eyebrow. She lets out a bitter laugh. "You have no idea. I'm Savannah, by the way, Savannah Young." "Harper," I reply, raising my mug in a mock toast. "Welcome to the Midnight Losers Club." Savannah flags down the waitress and orders a stack of pancakes and a black coffee. As we wait for her order, she starts spilling her guts about some guy who stood her up. I nod along, but I'm more focused on the way her lips move when she talks, the little crinkle between her eyebrows when she frowns. "So, what's your story?" she asks, suddenly turning the spotlight on me. I shrug, trying to play it cool. "Oh, you know, the usual. Girl meets girl, girl falls for girl, girl gets her heart stomped on. Rinse and repeat." Savannah's eyes widen slightly. "Oh, I didn't realize. I'm not." "Relax," I chuckle. "I'm not hitting on you, just stating facts." Her pancakes arrive, and we fall into an easy conversation. She tells me about her struggles with her business degree, and I mention that I tutor part-time. As the night wears on, I find myself drawn to her vulnerability, the way she laughs at my terrible jokes, the subtle flick of her hair when she's nervous. Before we know it, the sky outside is starting to lighten. We've been talking for hours, and I feel like I've known Savannah my whole life. As we get ready to leave, she hesitates. "This might sound crazy, but would you consider tutoring me? I could really use the help, and I feel like WWE.connect, you know? I should say no. I should maintain professional boundaries. But there's something about Savannah that makes me want to throw caution to the wind." "Sure," I hear myself saying. "Why not?" As we exchange numbers, our fingers brush, and I feel a jolt of electricity. Savannah's cheeks flush, and for a moment, I wonder if maybe, just maybe, I'm not the only one feeling this unexpected connection. We part ways outside the diner, the rising sun painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. As I watch Savannah walk away, her hips swaying slightly, I can't help but feel like my life is about to get a whole lot more complicated. And you know what? For once, I'm actually looking forward to it. A week after our late-night diner rendezvous, I find myself standing outside Savannah's apartment, second-guessing every life choice that led me here. What the hell am I doing? I'm a 35-year-old woman with a string of failed relationships behind me, about to tutor a gorgeous 32-year-old who probably isn't even into women. Talk about setting yourself up for disappointment, Harper. I take a deep breath and knock. The door swings open, and there she is, Savannah Young in all her glory. Her brunette hair is piled into a messy bun, and she's wearing sweats that have no business looking that good. "Harper, you came," she says, flashing that $1,000,000 smile. "Well, I did promise to help you ace that business degree," I reply, trying to keep my voice steady. She ushers me in, and I'm immediately hit by the scent of lavender and something uniquely Savannah. Her apartment is a chaotic mix of textbooks, art supplies, and half-empty coffee mugs. "Sorry about the mess," she says, hastily clearing a spot on the couch. "I'm not exactly a domestic goddess." I laugh, feeling some of the tension ease. "Trust me, I've seen worse. My place looks like a tornado hit a library." We settle in, spreading her books across the coffee table. As I start explaining some basic economic principles, I can't help but notice how Savannah leans in close, her green eyes focused intently on me. Every now and then, her hand brushes against mine as she reaches for a pencil or turns a page, sending little sparks of electricity through my body. About an hour into our session, Savannah groans and flops back against the couch. Gosh, my brain feels like it's going to explode. How about a break? Sure, I say, trying not to stare as she stretches, her shirt riding up to reveal a sliver of toned stomach. You got any coffee? She hops up and heads to the kitchen. Coming right up, Teach. While she's busy with the coffee maker, I wander around her living room, taking in the details. There are half-finished paintings leaning against the walls, abstract splashes of color that seem to pulse with emotion. These yours? I call out. Oh yeah, Savannah replies, sounding almost embarrassed. Just a hobby. I'm about to respond when something catches my eye. It's a small sketch, partially hidden behind a stack of papers. I shouldn't snoop, but curiosity gets the better of me. I slide it out, and my breath catches in my throat. It's a drawing of me, from that night at the diner. The detail is incredible. She's captured the tiredness in my eyes, the slight curl of my lip as I smirk at something she said. Coffee's ready! Savannah's voice startles me, and I quickly shove the sketch back where I found it. We settle back on the couch, and I try to focus on the lesson, but my mind keeps drifting back to that drawing. Does it mean something? Or am I just reading too much into it? As the evening wears on, our conversation shifts from business to more personal topics. Savannah tells me about her dreams of opening an art gallery, and I find myself opening up about my own hopes and fears. You know, she says, her voice soft, I'm really glad you agreed to tutor me. There's something about you, Harper. I feel like I can be myself around you. Our eyes lock, and for a moment the air between us feels charged with possibility. I lean in slightly, my heart pounding. Savannah's gaze flickers to my lips, and I think, this is it. But then her phone buzzes, shattering the moment. She jerks back, fumbling for her cell. Shit! I totally forgot. I have plans with my friend Claudia tonight. And just like that, reality comes crashing back. What was I thinking? She's my student, for crying out loud. I stand up, gathering my things. No worries. We made good progress today. Same time next week? Savannah walks me to the door, and I can feel her eyes on me as I head down the hallway. Just before I turn the corner, I glance back. She's still standing there, an unreadable expression on her face. As I step out into the cool night air, I can't shake the feeling that I'm teetering on the edge of something both exhilarating and dangerous. And despite every logical part of my brain screaming at me to walk away, I know I'll be back next week, drawn to Savannah like a moth to a flame. God damn it, Harper. What have you gotten yourself into this time? Weeks fly by, and our tutoring sessions become the highlight of my increasingly complicated life. Savannah and I fall into a rhythm, meeting late in the evenings when the rest of the world seems to fade away. We start on her couch, surrounded by textbooks and notebooks, but inevitably end up sprawled on the floor, our shoulders touching as we pore over complex business models and economic theories. It's during one of these late-night sessions that everything changes. The forecast had called for rain, but nobody expected the storm that rolls in, turning the sky an ominous shade of bruised purple. Thunder rattles the windows of Savannah's apartment, and I jump, knocking over my mug of cold coffee. Shit, I mutter, scrambling to mop up the mess with some nearby papers. Savannah laughs, a sound that never fails to make my heart skip a beat. Scared of a little thunder, Harper? I glare at her, but there's no real heat behind it. I'll have you know I'm perfectly fine with thunder. It's the possibility of being struck by lightning that has me on edge. She rolls her eyes and gets up, returning with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses. Here, she says, pouring generously, this'll calm your nerves. 1 glass turns into 2, then 3. The storm rages on outside, but inside, a different kind of electricity crackles between us. Our conversations drift away from business and into more personal territory. I find myself opening up about my past relationships, the heartbreaks, the disappointments. I just can't seem to make it work, I confess, the wine loosening my tongue. It's like I'm always waiting for the other shoe to drop, you know? Savannah nods, her green eyes soft with understanding. I get it. It's scary, letting someone in. There's a moment of silence, heavy with unspoken words. Then Savannah speaks again, her voice barely above a whisper. Can I tell you something? I nod, not trusting myself to speak. I've only ever been with men. But lately I've been feeling confused. She takes a deep breath. There's this woman I can't stop thinking about. My heart pounds so loudly I'm sure she must hear it. Oh? I manage to croak out. Savannah leans in closer, and I can smell the wine on her breath, mingled with her lavender perfume. She's smart and funny and beautiful, and I think I might be falling for her. Before I can respond, a deafening crack of thunder plunges the apartment into darkness. Savannah lets out a startled yelp, and I feel her hand grab mine in the darkness. It's okay, I murmur, giving her hand a reassuring squeeze. Just a power outage, I'm sure it'll come back on soon. But neither of us moves to let go. In the darkness, with the storm raging outside, it feels like we're the only two people in the world. I can hear Savannah's breath, quick and shallow, matching the rapid beating of my own heart. Harper, she whispers, and I feel her other hand come up to cup my cheek. I know I should stop this. I'm her tutor, for crying out loud. But in that moment, with the wine buzzing through my veins and Savannah's touch setting my skin on fire, all my reservations melt away. I lean in, closing the distance between us. Our lips meet, tentative at first, then with growing urgency. Savannah tastes like wine and possibility, and I lose myself in the softness of her mouth, the gentle pressure of her hand on my face. The kiss deepens, and I feel myself being gently pushed back onto the floor. Savannah hovers over me, her hair falling like a curtain around us. In the darkness, I can just make out the outline of her face, the glint in her eyes. Are you sure? I whisper, giving her one last chance to back out. In response, she kisses me again, her hands roaming under my shirt. I arch into her touch, all thoughts of propriety flying out the window. We fumble with buttons and zippers, skin sliding against skin as the storm rages on outside. What happens next is a blur of sensation. Soft sighs, exploring hands, the taste of salt on skin. We move together in the darkness, learning each other's bodies by touch alone. It's passionate and tender, clumsy and perfect all at once. Afterwards, we lie tangled together on the floor, catching our breath. The power flickers back on, casting a soft glow over Savannah's flushed face. Reality starts to creep back in, bringing with it a wave of uncertainty. So, I say, trying to keep my voice light, I guess this complicates things a bit. Savannah laughs, but it sounds a little strained. Just a bit. We dress in awkward silence, stealing glances at each other. The storm has passed, leaving behind a strange calm. As I gather my things to leave, Savannah catches my hand. Harper, I don't regret this, but I'm not sure what it means. I need some time to figure things out. I nod, trying to ignore the sinking feeling in my stomach. Of course, take all the time you need. As I walk home through the rain-slick streets, my mind races. What have we done? Where do we go from here? And most importantly, how the hell am I supposed to concentrate on tutoring Savannah now that I know what she looks like when she comes undone beneath my touch? One thing's for certain. Our late-night study sessions will never be the same again. I wake up the next morning with a pounding headache and a sinking feeling in my gut. Gosh, what have I done? The events of last night come flooding back. The storm, the wine, Savannah's lips on mine, her hands exploring my body. Shit. I've really gone and done it this time, haven't I? I reach for my phone, half hoping to see a message from Savannah. Nothing, of course not. What did I expect? Thanks for the mind-blowing sex. See you at our next tutoring session. I drag myself out of bed and into the shower, letting the hot water wash away the remnants of last night's passion. But no matter how hard I scrub, I can't erase the memory of Savannah's touch, the taste of her skin, the sound of her breathless moans. As I'm getting dressed, my phone buzzes. My heart leaps, but it's not Savannah. It's a text from her friend Claudia, of all people. Hey Harper, it's Claudia. Savannah's friend? Can we meet for coffee? It's important. Well, that's not ominous at all. I type back a quick reply, agreeing to meet her at a nearby cafe in an hour. When I arrive, Claudia's already there, nursing a latte and looking like she hasn't slept. She's pretty in a girl-next-door kind of way, with honey blonde hair and warm brown eyes. But right now, those eyes are filled with worry. Thanks for coming, she says as I slide into the seat across from her. I'm sorry to ambush you like this, but I'm worried about Savannah. I try to keep my face neutral, even as my heart races. Oh, is everything okay? Claudia sighs, stirring her coffee absently. I don't know. She called me last night, really late. She was upset, confused. She wouldn't tell me what happened, but she kept talking about you. Damn. I take a sip of my own coffee, buying time. We had a tutoring session last night. The storm hit, and things got a bit intense. Claudia's eyes narrow. Intense how? I squirm in my seat, feeling like I'm under interrogation. Look, I don't know what Savannah told you, but... She didn't have to tell me anything, Claudia interrupts. I've known Savannah for years. I can read between the lines. She leans forward, her voice low. Harper, I need you to be honest with me. Are you and Savannah involved? I consider lying, but what's the point? I nod, unable to meet Claudia's gaze. She lets out a long breath. Shit. I was afraid of that. Look, I know it's complicated, I start, but Claudia cuts me off again. Complicated doesn't even begin to cover it. Harper, there's something you need to know about Savannah. She's fragile. More than she lets on. I listen in growing horror as Claudia fills me in on Savannah's past, the abusive relationships, the struggles with depression and anxiety, the tendency to latch on to people who show her kindness. By the time she's finished, I feel like I've been punched in the gut. I'm not telling you this to scare you off, Claudia says softly. Savannah really likes you. I haven't seen her this happy in a long time, but you need to understand what you're getting into. I nod, my mind reeling. Thank you for telling me. I care about her, Claudia. I won't hurt her. Claudia gives me a sad smile. I hope not. Just be careful, okay? Both of you. As I leave the cafe, my phone buzzes again. This time it is Savannah. Can we talk? I'm at your place. My heart races as I hurry home. I find Savannah sitting on my doorstep, looking small and vulnerable. When she sees me, she stands up, wringing her hands nervously. Hi, she says softly. Hi, I reply, unlocking the door. We step inside, the tension between us thick enough to cut with a knife. Savannah takes a deep breath. Harper, about last night. I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression. I've never felt this way about a woman before, and it's all so new and scary and... I cut her off with a gentle kiss. When I pull back, her eyes are wide with surprise. Savannah, listen to me. What happened last night was amazing. And yes, it's scary and new for both of us. But we don't have to figure it all out right now. She nods, a small smile playing on her lips. So, you don't regret it? I laugh, pulling her close. The only thing I regret is that it took us this long to figure it out. We spend the rest of the day talking, really talking. I tell her about my conversation with Claudia, and Savannah opens up about her past. It's painful and raw, but it feels like we're finally seeing each other clearly for the first time. As the sun sets, casting a warm glow through my apartment, Savannah turns to me with a mischievous glint in her eye. So, Miss Watson, I think I might need some extra tutoring, to make up for lost time. I grin, pulling her towards the bedroom. Well, Miss Young, I'd be happy to oblige. Let's see if we can't work on your oral skills. We fall onto the bed in a tangle of limbs and laughter. As I lose myself in Savannah's touch once again, I can't help but think that maybe, just maybe, this time things will be different. Maybe this time, I've found something worth holding on to. But as I drift off to sleep later, Savannah curled up against me. A nagging voice in the back of my mind whispers a warning. Be careful, Harper. You're walking a dangerous line. Don't forget, she's still your student, and you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. I push the thoughts aside, focusing instead on the warmth of Savannah's body next to mine. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. For now, that's enough. The next few weeks are a whirlwind of stolen kisses, late-night study sessions, and an increasing inability to keep my hands off Savannah during our actual tutoring time. We're like teenagers, sneaking around, our every touch charged with electricity. But beneath the excitement, there's a current of unease that I can't quite shake. One evening, as we're sprawled on my couch, ostensibly reviewing market trends but really just tracing patterns on each other's skin, Savannah suddenly sits up. I want to show you something, she says, a nervous edge to her voice. I raise an eyebrow. Oh? Is this the kind of something that requires me to close my eyes? She rolls her eyes, but I catch the hint of a smile. No, you goof. Well, you'll see. Come on. We drive to her apartment in comfortable silence, my hand resting on her thigh. As we climb the stairs, I can feel the tension radiating off her. "Savannah," I say, catching her hand. "Whatever it is, it's okay. You can trust me." She nods, takes a deep breath, and opens the door. At first glance, everything looks normal, but then I notice the easel in the corner, covered with a sheet. "So," Savannah says, fidgeting with the hem of her shirt, "remember how I mentioned I like to paint sometimes?" I nod, thinking back to the half-finished canvases I'd glimpsed during our first tutoring session. Well, it's more than just a hobby. It's how I process things, feelings, people. She walks over to the easel and, with a dramatic flourish that would be comical if she didn't look so terrified, pulls off the sheet. I gasp. It's me. But not just one painting. The easel is covered in sketches, studies, and finished pieces, all of me. There's one from that first night in the diner, capturing the weariness in my eyes and the quirk of my lips. Another shows me laughing, head thrown back, in a moment I don't even remember. And in the center, a large canvas depicts me sleeping, the morning light casting a soft glow on my skin. "Gosh, Savannah," I breathe, stepping closer to examine the details. "These are incredible, but also a little stalkerish, not gonna lie." She lets out a strangled laugh. I know, I swear I'm not a creep, it's just, from the moment I saw you in that diner I couldn't get you out of my head. Painting you was the only way I could make sense of what I was feeling." I turn to her, seeing the vulnerability in her eyes. "And what were you feeling?" She steps closer, cupping my face in her hands. Like maybe for the first time in my life, I'd found someone who could see the real me, someone who could handle all my mess and still want to stick around. I lean in, pressing my forehead against hers. "Savannah, But before I can finish, the door bursts open. We jump apart like guilty teenagers as Claudia storms in, her face a mask of fury. "What the hell, Savannah?" she shouts, waving a piece of paper in the air. "I just got a call from your advisor. You're failing 2 classes? And you didn't think to tell me?" Savannah pales, shrinking back. "Claudia, I can explain." But Claudia's on a roll. "Do you have any idea how hard I worked to get you into this program? How many strings I had to pull? And you're just going to throw it all away for what? Some fling with your tutor?" I feel like I've been slapped. "Hey, that's not fair." Claudia rounds on me, her eyes blazing. "And you, I trusted you to help her, not seduce her. Do you have any idea what you're doing to her?" The room falls silent, the tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. Savannah looks between us, tears welling in her eyes. "I think you should go," she whispers to me. I want to argue, to defend what we have, but the look in Savannah's eyes stops me. I nod, gathering my things. As I reach the door, I turn back. "Savannah, this doesn't change anything. We can figure this out together." She gives me a watery smile that doesn't reach her eyes. "I'll call you, okay?" As I drive home, my mind races. How did everything go sideways so fast? One minute we're sharing this intimate moment, and the next, I slam my hand against the steering wheel in frustration. When I get home, I pour myself a generous glass of whiskey and try to sort through the mess of emotions swirling in my chest. Guilt, anger, fear, and underneath it all, a deep, aching love for Savannah that I can no longer deny. My phone buzzes with a text from Savannah. "I'm sorry about tonight. I need some time to figure things out. Can we talk tomorrow?" I type back a quick, "of course," and toss my phone aside, running my hands through my hair. What have I gotten myself into? And more importantly, how the hell do I fix it? As I drift off to sleep, my dreams are haunted by images of Savannah's paintings, her green eyes filled with tears and Claudia's accusing glare. One thing's for sure, whatever happens next, nothing will ever be the same again. And the worst part? Despite everything, all I want is to hold Savannah in my arms and tell her it's going to be okay, even if I'm not sure I believe it myself. The next morning, I wake up with a pounding headache and a sense of dread sitting heavy in my stomach. I reach for my phone, hoping to see a message from Savannah, but there's nothing. Just as I'm about to call her, my phone buzzes with an incoming call. My heart leaps, but it's not Savannah. It's a number I haven't seen in years. "Hello?" I answer cautiously. "Harper? It's Alex." Shit. Alex. My ex-girlfriend. The one who broke my heart and left me a mess 3 years ago. I sit up, suddenly wide awake. "Alex. This is unexpected." I know. I'm sorry to call out of the blue like this. I'm in town for a conference and well, I was hoping we could meet up. To talk. I should say no. I have enough complications in my life right now. But before I can stop myself, I hear my voice saying, sure, when and where. We agree to meet for lunch at a cafe downtown. As I get ready, my mind is a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. What does Alex want? And more importantly, why am I even considering seeing her when things with Savannah are so uncertain? I arrive at the cafe early, my nerves on edge, and then I see her. Alex looks exactly the same, tall, with sleek black hair and those piercing blue eyes that always seem to see right through me. She smiles when she spots me, and I feel a familiar flutter in my chest. Harper, she says, pulling me into a hug. It's so good to see you. We sit down, and for a while, it's like no time has passed at all. We fall into easy conversation, catching up on each other's lives. Alex tells me about her new job, her travels, and I find myself laughing at her stories, just like old times. So, Alex says, leaning in. Are you seeing anyone? I hesitate, thinking of Savannah. It's complicated. Alex raises an eyebrow. Isn't it always with you? Before I can respond, I spot a familiar figure entering the cafe. My heart stops. It's Savannah, and she's seen us. Our eyes lock, and I watch as a range of emotions flicker across her face. Surprise, hurt, anger. Shit, I mutter, standing up abruptly. I'm sorry, Alex, I have to go. I rush after Savannah, who's already halfway down the block. Savannah, wait! She whirls around, her green eyes flashing. Who was that? It's not what you think, I start, but she cuts me off. Really? Because it looked like you were on a date with a gorgeous woman while I've been tearing myself apart trying to figure out what to do about us. I reach for her hand, but she pulls away. Savannah, please, let me explain. She shakes her head, tears welling in her eyes. I can't do this right now, Harper. I need space. As I watch her walk away, I feel like my world is crumbling around me. I turn back to the cafe, only to see Alex watching from the window, a look of understanding and regret on her face. The next few days are torture. Savannah isn't answering my calls or texts. I throw myself into work, trying to distract myself, but everything reminds me of her. I can't stop thinking about the hurt in her eyes when she saw me with Alex. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, Savannah agrees to meet me. We decide on neutral ground, the diner where we first met. As I wait for her, I fidget with my coffee mug, rehearsing what I'm going to say. When Savannah walks in, my breath catches in my throat. She looks tired, her usual vibrant energy dimmed. She slides into the booth across from me, her face unreadable. Hi, I say softly. Hi, she replies, not quite meeting my eyes. We sit in awkward silence for a moment before I can't take it anymore. Savannah, I'm so sorry about what happened. Alex is my ex. She called out of the blue and It's not just about her, Savannah interrupts. Harper, I'm failing my classes. Claudia's right, I've been so caught up in US that I've let everything else slide. And the worst part is, I don't even care. My heart sinks. What are you saying? She takes a deep breath. I'm saying that maybe we need to take a step back. Focus on why we started this in the first place. You're supposed to be my tutor, not my. She trails off, unable to find the right word. Your girlfriend? I supply, my voice barely a whisper. Savannah nods, tears spilling down her cheeks. I care about you so much, Harper, but I need to get my life back on track, and I think I need to do that on my own. I feel like I've been punched in the gut, but I force myself to nod. I understand, if that's what you need then, okay. We sit there for a while longer, both of us crying silently. Finally, Savannah stands up. I should go. I watch her walk away, feeling like a piece of my heart is leaving with her. As the diner door swings shut behind her, I'm hit with a wave of déjà vu. Here I am, right back where I started, alone in this dingy diner, nursing a broken heart. But this time, it's different. Because this time, I know what I'm losing. And I'm not sure I can let it go without a fight. As I drive home, my mind races with possibilities. Maybe this is for the best. Maybe Savannah and I were never meant to work out. Or maybe this is just a bump in the road. Maybe if I give her the space she needs, we can find our way back to each other. One thing's for sure, I'm not giving up on Savannah without a fight. Even if it means being just her tutor for now, I'll do whatever it takes to prove to her that what we have is worth saving. Because for the first time in my life, I found someone who makes me want to be better. And I'll be damned if I let that slip away without giving it everything I've got. The weeks that follow are some of the longest of my life. I throw myself into work, taking on extra tutoring gigs and volunteering at the local community center, anything to keep my mind off Savannah. But no matter how busy I keep myself, I can't shake the ache in my chest. It's a rainy Tuesday evening when fate decides to throw me another curveball. I'm hurrying home, cursing myself for forgetting an umbrella, when I duck into a small art gallery to escape the downpour. As I shake the water from my hair, I freeze. There, on the far wall, is a painting I'd recognize anywhere. It's me, asleep, bathed in morning light, one of Savannah's pieces. Beautiful, isn't it? A voice says behind me. I turn to see a middle-aged woman with kind eyes and a paintbrush tucked behind her ear. One of our most promising new artists. She's having her first solo show here next month. My heart races. Savannah Young? The woman's eyebrows raise in surprise. You know her work? I laugh, a bit hysterically. You could say that I was her tutor. Recognition dawns in the woman's eyes. Oh, you must be Harper. Savannah's mentioned you. Before I can process this information, the gallery door chimes. I turn and there she is. Savannah, looking like a vision in a paint-splattered smock, her hair piled messily on top of her head. Our eyes meet, and for a moment, the world stands still. Harper, she breathes. What are you doing here? I gesture vaguely at the rain outside. Seeking shelter, I didn't know. Your paintings are amazing, Savannah. She blushes, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear. Thanks, I've been working really hard on them. The gallery owner, sensing the tension, excuses herself, leaving us alone. We stand in awkward silence for a moment before Savannah speaks. Do you want to get a coffee to catch up? I nod, my throat suddenly dry. We end up at our old diner, the familiar scent of greasy food and stale coffee oddly comforting. As we slide into our usual booth, it feels like no time has passed at all. So, I say, stirring my coffee absently. A solo show, huh? That's incredible, Savannah. She beams, and I feel my heart skip a beat. Yeah, it's kind of surreal. I've been painting nonstop since. Well, you know. I nod, understanding the unspoken words. Since we broke up. And your classes? I ask, almost afraid of the answer. Much better, she says with a small smile. I've pulled my grades up. Turns out, I'm pretty good at business when I actually focus on it. We fall into easy conversation, catching up on the past few weeks. Savannah tells me about her art, her classes, her plans for the future. I find myself hanging on her every word, realizing how much I've missed this. Missed her. As the night wears on, I can feel the unspoken tension between us growing. Finally, I can't take it anymore. Savannah, I say, reaching across the table to take her hand. I've missed you, so much. She squeezes my hand, her eyes shining with unshed tears. I've missed you too, Harper. But what? I press, my heart in my throat. She takes a deep breath. But I'm scared. What we had, it was intense, beautiful, but intense, and I lost myself in it. I can't do that again. I nod, understanding her fear all too well. I get it. But Savannah, what if we tried again? Slower this time. We could date, like, actually date. No tutoring, no complications. Just us, getting to know each other properly. She bites her lip, considering. I don't know, Harper. What if it doesn't work out? What if it does? I counter. Savannah, I've never felt this way about anyone before. I think we owe it to ourselves to at least try. She's quiet for a long moment, and I hold my breath, waiting. Finally, she looks up at me, a small smile playing on her lips. Okay, she says softly. Let's try. The relief that washes over me is almost overwhelming. I lean across the table, cupping her face in my hands, and kiss her softly. It feels like coming home. As we leave the diner, hand in hand, the rain has stopped. The streets are slick and shining under the streetlights, and the air smells fresh and new. It feels like a beginning. So, I say, swinging our joined hands between us. Tell me more about this solo show of yours. Savannah's eyes light up as she starts describing her plans for the gallery. As we walk, I find myself falling in love with her all over again. Her passion, her creativity, the way her whole face comes alive when she talks about her art. We end up at her apartment, and for a moment, we both hesitate at the door. But this time, there's no rush, no desperate need to prove anything. We have time. "Good night, Harper," Savannah says, leaning in to kiss me softly. "Good night," I murmur against her lips. "I'll see you tomorrow?" She nods, a smile spreading across her face. It's a date. As I walk home, I can't wipe the grin off my face. For the first time in a long time, I feel hopeful. Savannah and I have a lot to work through, sure. But we're both committed to trying. And really, that's all anyone can ask for. Tomorrow, we'll start our new beginning. And this time, I'm determined to get it right. Because Savannah Young is worth fighting for. And I'm not letting her go without a fight. The weeks leading up to Savannah's gallery opening fly by in a whirlwind of stolen kisses, late-night conversations, and the kind of giddy excitement I haven't felt since I was a teenager. We're taking things slow, just like we promised, but there's an undercurrent of electricity every time we're together that threatens to short-circuit my self-control. The night before the big event, I'm at Savannah's apartment, helping her put the finishing touches on her artist statement. She's a bundle of nerves, pacing back and forth as she rehearses her speech. "What if no one likes my work?" she frets, running her hands through her hair for the 100th time. "What if I'm making a huge mistake?" I catch her by the waist, pulling her close. "Hey, look at me. Your work is incredible, Savannah. Tomorrow night, everyone else is going to see what I've known all along, that you're a goddamn genius." She smiles, some of the tension leaving her body. "How do you always know exactly what to say?" I shrug, grinning. "It's a gift. Now come on, let's run through your speech one more time." The next evening, I'm standing in the packed gallery, nursing a glass of cheap wine and trying not to let my nerves show. Savannah's paintings line the walls, each one a testament to her talent and vision. But it's the centerpiece that takes my breath away. A massive canvas depicting two women embracing. Their faces obscured but their bodies intertwined in a dance of light and shadow. It's us, I realize with a start. Savannah and me, captured in a moment of perfect intimacy. I'm so lost in the painting that I almost miss Savannah's entrance. She looks stunning in a sleek black dress, her hair swept up in an elegant updo. Our eyes meet across the room, and she gives me a small, nervous smile. I raise my glass in a silent toast, mouthing, "You've got this." The gallery owner introduces Savannah, and a hush falls over the crowd. As she begins to speak, her voice trembling slightly at first but growing stronger with each word. I feel a swell of pride so intense, it almost brings tears to my eyes. This is the woman I love, bearing her soul to the world through her art. Wait. Love? The realization hits me like a ton of bricks. I love her. I'm in love with Savannah Young. The thought carries me through the rest of the evening in a daze. I watch as art critics and collectors fawn over Savannah's work, as she navigates the crowd with grace and charm. By the time the last guest leaves, she's sold nearly half of her pieces and received commissions for 3 more. "We did it," she squeals, throwing herself into my arms as soon as we're alone. "Harper, can you believe it? They loved my work." I spin her around, laughing. "Of course they did. You're incredible, Savannah. I'm so proud of you." She pulls back, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "I couldn't have done this without you, you know. You've been my rock through all of this." I cup her face in my hands, suddenly serious. "Savannah, I need to tell you something." She looks at me, a mix of curiosity and apprehension in her eyes. "What is it?" I take a deep breath. "I love you. I'm in love with you. I think I have been since that first night in the diner, and She cuts me off with a kiss, fierce and passionate. When we finally come up for air, she's grinning so wide I think her face might split in 2. "I love you too, you idiot," she says, laughing through her tears. God, I've been wanting to say that for weeks. We stumble out of the gallery, drunk on love and success and maybe a little too much cheap wine. The night air is crisp, filled with possibility. As we walk hand in hand down the empty streets, I can't help but feel like everything in my life has been leading to this moment. "So," I say, bumping her shoulder playfully, "what's next for the great Savannah Young, rising star of the art world?" She pretends to think for a moment. Well, I was thinking of taking a break from painting to pursue my true passion, interpretive dance. I laugh, pulling her close. As long as I get a front row seat to every performance. We end up back at my apartment, fumbling with keys and clothes as we try to make it to the bedroom without breaking contact. It's different this time, slower, more deliberate. We take our time exploring each other's bodies, savoring every touch, every kiss. When we finally come together, it feels like coming home. Afterwards, as we lie tangled in the sheets, Savannah traces patterns on my skin. You know, she says softly, I never thought I'd have this. A successful art career, someone who loves me for who I am. It feels almost too good to be true. I pull her closer, pressing a kiss to her forehead. It's real, Savannah. We're real. And we've got our whole lives ahead of us to figure out what comes next. As we drift off to sleep, I can't help but think about how far we've come. From that first night in the diner to this moment, it's been a wild ride. But I wouldn't change a single second of it. The next morning, I wake up to find Savannah sketching me in the early morning light. What are you doing? I mumble, still half asleep. She smiles, that radiant smile that never fails to take my breath away. Capturing the moment. I want to remember this feeling forever. As I watch her work, her brow furrowed in concentration, I'm struck by a sudden, overwhelming sense of contentment. This is it, I realize. This is what happiness feels like. We may not have it all figured out yet. There will be challenges ahead, obstacles to overcome. But as long as I have Savannah by my side, I know we can face anything life throws our way. Because sometimes, love really is enough. And Savannah and I, we've got love in spades.